to me. He's not paying. I'm just
Right.
going to record it and I'm just going to post it just so I don't miss a
Yeah.
day. Is what it comes down
Sure.
to.
I hear
I think it's
you.
I think it's funny that you said spread my wings. I mean, you guys have known me long enough to know. I mean, pretty much the only thing that I do with any skill at all is talk,
Hubba bubba 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 bubba.
right?
Hubba
You know what you should
bubba.
start doing, Scott? You should start having product placement, sponsorship of some sort.
Well, if I lose my job, that might become more important.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. You never know. Stevie, what are you doing, man?
Try to plug in a light.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. It's not super imperative. I right before you came on, I was saying that I was hoping you were outside again, but I forgot the fact that it's like 45 fucking degrees here. I have a hat on. I'm in my basement and I have a hat on. Let me take it off. There we go.
Sweet.
Who needs a haircut?
That's right.
I need a haircut.
Cut your own hair.
That was a song, wasn't it? Cut your hair?
Oh,
Oh, no.
who's got the dog?
Who let
That's
the dogs
me.
out?
Yeah.
Turned down for what?
Let me put her in the next room so she doesn't do this.
No,
Johnny.
really. Did you say the dog's name was Chai? Well, so Stevie, you said you could hear me. You still can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Billy and I was just telling Billy that I'm finding it, you know, because I find it absolutely absurd that people wouldn't want to talk to me. But I was telling him I find it difficult to line people up for this. And I was also telling him that if you guys don't want to do this, just say so. I don't care. It's not that big a deal. It's just I wanted to see you guys once a week anyway. And I've been messing with that track all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I'll have something for you before the weekend. I'll have something for you. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have a guitar track for you too.
All right. Well, I mean, long as
I'll send them separate.
separate.
Yeah, I'll export with the other tracks muted, which is how I did it with the church band.
Yep.
And I appreciate you didn't respond to Joel the other day. Last week we had Joel on our original. By the way, I tried to get Dana to come here tonight, so we had an extra person, but she didn't ever respond to me.
I sent Joel a track.
Did you send him something? Okay, cool. I just didn't see a response in the text thing, so I didn't. Did you send him? What did you send him? Did you send him Death Warmed Over, or what did you send him?
No, I sent him that Won't Go Far track. That's the other one I'm working on. I sent it to Brent as well because it needs drums.
Yeah. Is that the one? Did I record something on that in your living room?
You did, yeah. You did bass on it already.
Right. Okay. Well, just do me a favor though. I mean, if you don't mind, anything you're dicking around with, send it to me. And yeah, it'll take a while because I've got so much shit going on. But I would love to. I mean, I've got a bunch of shit here, man. I got spare percussion shit. I got keyboards. I got drums. I got a bass. I got a guitar. I mean, send me stuff. And as long as you don't mind, I'd be more than willing to kibitz on everything, send you whatever, and you can just throw away as you see fit.
Right. That's cool. But the most important thing is that you get the bass on there.
I know. But it's it has the lowest like interest level for me too.
I understand that. As long as you got something you're happy with, don't just lay something down and then, I want to get to do guitar and jingle bell.
Well, that Death Warmed Over. I did this kind of I don't know how to describe it. I just did this kind of like 2 and 3 note thing. It's like these chimes that are at the end of the measures and shit. I thought it sounded cool. I'll send it to you.
You just do one of your patented bass halls.
Halls. Woom, all day, every day.
Yeah, if you don't know the part,
here
you
we
just
go.
Vroom, vroom.
Right. Yeah. Which is probably better.
It solves the whole problem.
Well, no, that's the thing is the whole time we play together, there's actually 2 options I have when I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the better of the 2, because the other one is to noodle relentlessly through a scale that's not related. So I can find my way back. Billy, all of a sudden you're incredibly well lit. Did you turn on an overhead light?
I did turn on an overhead light.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. So how are you guys doing? It's been a week. I probably should have invited Joel back. Can we have Joel back next week and talk to him again?
Yeah, see what we'll have to quiz him on if he pulled out his electronic drums.
Right. He seemed,
I want to meet him.
But you
Pardon
know
me?
what happened was he
Yeah,
probably won't.
you were with us.
He won't do anything with it, I bet, because I did include a hint. It was just a hint as to what the drums should be doing.
That's not the way the song goes, Steve.
And so he'll probably go, "Oh, it's that shit again. Oh, fuck this."
It works sometimes. But no, that's the thing is when Joel and I actually traded some texts, and he said he'd bought an electronic kit, and I mean those things are amazing now. The Todd McClymon's the guy that plays with the church band's got one of them, and he can make it sound like anything. I mean anything, and it sounds, you know, it sounds pretty good. It sounds pretty authentic.
The church band from Australia?
Yes. Yep. We all get together and everybody prays and does communion to I don't know what was the big hit. I can't
Under the
remember
Milky Way.
That's it, right? I couldn't remember the name of it. You know what's funny about that? Years and years ago, I don't even remember why now, but I used to call Wes Pence, and if I got his voicemail, I'd sing Under the Milky Way on it.
And he would go, delete, beep.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so did you guys get all your trees done? You're done. You had 8 left last week. It's all over now, right?
Yeah, they're in the ground soaking up the rainwater.
That's what I was telling Billy right before he came on, is that you've got kind of a cult cred among the, I mean, let's be fair, handful of people that have watched any of these. A measurable percentage has said, oh, that tree farm guy's interesting. And I'm like, oh, you have no idea.
Steve, what's next now that the trees are in the ground?
Yeah, what is next? I mean,
mow. We got to mow.
Yeah, there's a lot of grass out there.
There's a lot of grass, and it's turning green, and it's getting tall.
Right on. Have you guys mown yet already?
Yeah, but not the tree fields.
Just the front of the house?
Just kind of around the yard and whatnot. But
well, you guys got
last week has been occupied with spraying.
Wait, say that. I'm sorry. Say that again.
This last week has been occupied with spraying weeds.
Oh, spraying. Okay.
And invasive species that get out of control.
So you guys got 68 chipmunks in the basement?
Yeah.
I know you're talking plants, but.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually cut my lawn, which is, you know, if I think about it, it's probably at 1/500th, maybe 1,000th of the Upper Tugfork Tree Farm. But I've already had to cut it twice, and it's April 15th.
I've done mine once, but mine's so small that I just use the weed eater.
You got a 0.1 acreage.
Yeah.
Point what? Oh, yeah, 1/10 of an acre. You know, 0.1. Oh no, it's 100th of an acre. Sorry, never mind. 1,000th, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, we're up in the 100-acre range, but not that much of it is grass. Most of it's wood. So.
Well, that's what I was going to say before. Is you guys have that tree line drive that goes all the way up, but about halfway up, there's a strip of grass on the right side that runs up that whole hill. Isn't that a big pain in the ass?
Oh, on both sides, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a pain in the ass. That's an 11% grade on that driveway. Yeah, and that's pretty steep. You should have seen the day the cement trucks poured the cement. It took 40 cement trucks, and two
cement
of them.
For what? Just the drainage ditches on either side, or for the driveway itself?
When we poured the driveway.
Oh, okay.
And two of the cement trucks broke their axles in the process because, you know, that 11% was almost too much for them.
And they couldn't charge you guys for that. So Don didn't have to pay for 2 axles for cement trucks, is my guess. And my guess is that company probably had to wash the whole job to replace 2 axles in their trucks.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked out.
Yeah, well, is what it is.
But you know what? In other news, I did get my stimulus.
You got your stim.
Yeah.
Stim.
Stim. I got my stim. You froze right there. You got your stimulus payment?
Yes, I did.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And I already
So,
spent all of it.
oh, good for you. Rock and roll. Well, you know what? That's the whole point of the whole thing. If you don't get it and spend it, like there's going to be a lot of people that take that stimulus money and save it, sock it away for a rainy day, and its benefit is minimized if you don't spend it. You got to take that money and give it to other people.
Well, you know,
I got mine, and I immediately handed it over to my pot dealer.
Yeah, I did something like that.
There you go. That's stimulating the economy. That money will get spent again and again. And
I didn't know I had it until I went to the bank and checked the ATM because you can't get online to your bank accounts.
what do you mean you can't get online to your
They
bank
were all
accounts? I
jammed
can't.
up. They were all jammed up today. Fifth Third. I heard a couple other banks
Right.
were.
That's because somebody announced that the stimulus checks were happening. Where's my balance?
Yeah, we're experiencing technical difficulties. You know, that whole thing all day long. The same thing with
Please try again later.
trying to file for unemployment the last 2 days. So
Did you wait? Hang on just a minute. Did you just start like 2 days ago to try and file unemployment? Because I thought we mentioned, I thought we talked about this before. You hadn't filed yet?
No.
And well, I hear a lot of horror stories about that. So your experience clearly wasn't pleasant either.
Well, it took me a couple of days to figure out exactly the nuances of how to log on. But
by the way, I just really quick as an aside, I know I talk on top of you guys all the time, but the nuances of logging on is one of my favorite phrases that I've heard for a long time.
I had a password, but it wasn't working, so I had to reset it.
Right on.
And that's a whole ordeal, you know.
Right.
That takes a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm waiting to hear back if I qualify. Now I'm just hoping that by applying for, you know, the unemployment, they don't discover that I didn't pay my taxes last year.
well, no, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. If you got the stimulus payment, then clearly the IRS sees you as at least solvent and paid up through 2018.
I'm just talking about the state of Kentucky.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry. My state taxes, if my state taxes aren't bundled specifically with my filing for the federal taxes, I neglect them and ignore them completely. And it's fucked me a couple of times.
Yeah. We'll see. Did get a harmonica today.
What key is it?
G.
G?
Usually it's C.
I think it's G, actually.
Oh.
What did you say, Billy? I would have guessed you'd been right over me.
I don't. For some reason, I was thinking that they, the basic cheaper ones are always in C.
This isn't a cheaper one. It's from the Marine Band.
Oh, sorry.
It's not a honer?
You're not holding a honer there, Steve?
I'm holding a honer, and I have been for weeks.
It's hard to read it backwards.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, a harmonica. This is one of those musical conundrums, if you will. A harmonica in C and a harmonica in G would only be different based on the high and low end of the scale, right?
They probably sound pretty good played together.
Yeah.
They'd only be different based on the key.
Well, but yeah, obviously I understand that, but the whole truth of the matter is that C and G,
We got a music performance happening.
complementary keys without a doubt. Billy, what's been going on with you, man?
You know what? I got a feature picked up by No Depression magazine. I'm going to write for them.
What's it on?
It's about how like some country music museums around the country are sort of having virtual tours and online
sure,
stuff like that.
You know what's funny is that's the kind of stuff that you would think had been happening anyway. You know, you would think
Well,
that.
yeah, a lot of folks do already. You know, like the big ones, like the Rock Hall of Fame already has tons of stuff, virtual tours, lessons online.
Right. Yeah.
The Johnny Cash Museum, which is a little one-stop shop in Nashville or wherever. You
Stevie
know.
just walked up with an accordion. Wait, Stevie, hang on a second. We're talking about museums and virtual tours. Oh, Billy, we had dual accordions. All right. No, Stevie, now you got to get it back. Now you got to get it back. Billy's got an accordion too. I've got my bass in my hand. Years ago, my sister.
What key are you in, Billy?
What key? What key are you in, Billy?
I don't know. I don't know how to play it. I just have it.
It's pretty. Years and years ago, my sister, Stevie, you've met my sister, haven't you, Kathy? You remember Kathy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So years ago, my sister, I mean, and for quite a while, I mean, it was an indelible part of my childhood is watching my sister date this guy named Nick Sakini, who was an absolute, and in hindsight especially, he was an astonishingly amazing accordion player. Like it was like he could do anything on an accordion.
This is going to be the new Sistern track.
Is it going to be Our Lady of Spain?
I don't know how to play it at all, but it's good to. I'm gonna add it onto a track somehow where I just play one note. You know.
Well, the thing about the accordion is it's one of those instruments that you can make sounds with that sound affected that aren't. I mean, there's things you can do that you just can't do with anything else.
I got the ivory inlays and the BPS backboard. It's like top of the line.
Stevie, do you remember Jenny Balcom? Let me put this away.
No, I don't.
Shit. I don't know.
You reach a point. I got this one from Larry from Hog Scraper.
That looks like a typewriter.
It's an old time one.
Larry, Larry's somebody that I should probably try and reach out to and get on here. He posted an amazing diatribe today that I wasn't sure how I felt about.
I didn't read it all.
Well, I read most of it.
Was it politically tinged?
Yes, without a doubt.
Wow.
And I love Larry and I respect his opinion, but there were things on there that I was just like, I don't know. I'm having a hard. Wait, Billy, bring that thing back for a second.
Bring that beat back.
Turn down for what?
Look at this.
Oh, Jesus, that's pretty.
The buttons, I mean, this is wood. Like little.
See, it is a typewriter.
Okay, Billy, write me a letter, but I want it to sound like Our Lady of Spain.
And play a beat that sounds like a horse galloping.
That's crazy. And you said Larry gave that to you?
That's a squeeze box.
You said Larry gave that to you?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Well, I was going to say about Jenny Balcom really quickly. She apparently builds concertinas from scratch, which is like the miniature accordion. But I mean, that's probably worth money.
Well, it's falling apart. It's really more to look at than. But
there's a lot of things in the world that are to look at that are worth money.
It almost fell apart as I moved it over here.
Right on. Right on.
Yeah, you should have Larry on.
I should. But that was the thing. He posted this thing today, and it was, it was really heartfelt, and it was clearly very and what's funny about Larry is he doesn't post stuff until it's like an explosion. Most of his posts are like these kind of long things. And like I said, I love the guy to death. I just, there was just too much. It was just too much. There were things to pick apart and there were things to argue with. But the general consensus was that he was just saying, I don't understand why we can't all just stand together, which is, a reasonable question.
Why can't we all just get along?
Right. Come on, Rodney.
Hey, what happened to Brent? What's he doing? Another video in the woods?
Brent got a brand new fire pit, and he said he was
Oh.
burning. He said he was burning things. So, he's burning things, and I get that, and that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of this whole thing. I mean, there's lives to be led. I was telling Billy I was always confused and people didn't want to do this. And the whole truth of the matter is there's a lot of better things to do. It's just nice to see people and talk to people. I want to see you fuckers once a week. But if you guys don't want to do it, just let me know ahead of time. So if I can fill something in, I will.
Yeah. Well, I kind of lost track of time today. I was doing stuff, and
that's a good problem to have, though. I promise you, there's millions of people out there that spend all day watching the clock.
Yeah.
And it's either here's an hour till I get done, or it's here's an hour when I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Whatever I can do to not think about the clock, that's my gig.
Did either one of you guys see David Enright's post on Facebook today?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, did you see it?
Yeah.
David Enright declared that he had more money than he needed. And if you IM'd him, he would Venmo you money.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that.
Where is he? I didn't even.
He's in Belgium right now, right?
Belgium? Maybe we get David Enright on. Let's see what he's doing. What time is it in Belgium right now? It's almost. It's almost 8 o'clock. So it's 1 a.m. in Belgium, right? Or is it 2 a.m. in Belgium?
There's your next program.
It's a 6-hour.
Is it 6? It's 6, not 5. Yeah, that's right. It's 5 to England, so it's 6 to Belgium. Gotcha. I'm sorry, Billy. What were you gonna say? So we get David Enright.
Lariat B. Graham and David Enright.
With who? Wait, what was the first one?
Lariat B. Graham.
Larry Enright. That's actually kind of brilliant. You know what I should be doing is what
Not
I should be.
At the same time, though, I wouldn't do it.
Why? Why not?
Because we never hear David Enright.
Yeah. Yeah, we would. I know Larry's a conscientious guy. If he was on one of these things, he would. Like I was talking about pairing different people, and I was thinking in terms of personality types, and I'm like, well, if I had this attractive woman on, then this guy might not be so abrasive. Those kind of thought process. You know what I mean? But it's fun. I don't know. It's fun to put people up that are in disparate situations.
Or desperate.
Right. It's a question of your pronunciation, lad. But that's the thing is Belgium's interesting. You guys, Stevie, you remember Laura Dawson, right? LD.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in London, and we've been communicating here and there. I'm trying to get her to do this, but it's just like 5 hours is a lot. At 9 o'clock. That's the thing is it's 9 o'clock her time, and I'm still working. And I get off work at the stroke. I get off work. It's 10 o'clock. Her and I were trading texts a few minutes ago. She's like, it's 12:30. I'm going to bed. I'm like, what? Okay.
Well, what if you did it like 11 o'clock her time or 10 o'clock her time? So it's
but that's the thing is it's really, you guys have experienced this before. It's really tough for me to do the workaday thing and then immediately do something else. It's just like, even though we're all in the same house, I'm in the basement for the bulk of the day, almost 8 hours. And then my kids, my wife, the house, the dog, whatever, everybody needs attention as soon as I get off work. And it's,
you don't leave the basement the whole time you're working?
Well, no, I go upstairs and smoke cigarettes and go to the bathroom and shit, but no, pretty much. I'm pretty much in this room all day, every day. Monday through Friday. It's the only reason I know what day of the week it is because I'm still doing that.
You need more breaks.
Don't we all?
Take 15 minutes here or there and just kind of speed up your work when you get back.
Well, my whole thing is I'm waiting for it to warm up so I can set this up on the porch.
Ooh. Then you can chain smoke.
Right. But see, I'm doing that anyway. I probably, when I was going to the office every day, I'd probably smoke 2 cigarettes over the course of the time I was at the office. But here at home, I go upstairs every 45 minutes, smoke a cigarette at least, and sometimes other things. But it's just, It is what it is. Symptom of the circumstances. What do you guys think of this new attitude, both in coverage and in societal pressure? I don't know how to put it, but the last few days I've been watching as the news stops reporting on increased cases, increased deaths, and starts reporting on when we're opening back up again. Which is funny because, over the last few days we've had like record days multiple times of cases and deaths, both in the U.S. and worldwide. And but everyone's talking about.
Why don't they report about getting testing out to everybody before they start talking about opening up everything? We don't have testing yet, but we're going to open by the beginning of next month.
Right. Well, that's
our cheerleader in chief can't seem to get on track.
But that's what worries me. I mean, if it was just an isolated circumstance where it's like our cheerleader in chief is saying this and whatever, it'd be kind of like the way it's been in the last 3.5 years anyway, minus the pandemic, obviously. But what worries me is that news sources that I like and respect are kind of following this party line of let's open the economy. I mean, and you're right, the testing's the whole part of it, but that's not even part of the conversation. Now, all of a sudden, the conversation's about when and how, and nobody's talking about testing. Nobody's talking about cases. Nobody's talking about deaths, at least not front line. And that's what worries me the most, is watching the entire news organization, not just this one or that one or the ones I like and trust.
Every night, the first thing on the news report is how many died, how many new cases, and then
is
they
it?
move on. Yeah.
I mean, the last time I watched the news, the first story was about the governors forming coalitions to determine how the reintroduction was going to take place.
That was days ago.
I think it was Monday, or Sunday, but that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we, the three of us collectively, have it pretty good right now. I mean, I've had my bad and good days, as I'm sure we all have. But if someone told me tomorrow that in order for the world generally to be safe, or even our state or country or whatever the case might be, I'd have to continue living like this for X amount of days, and I would be fine with that. Yeah. But the conversation now seems to be, I don't know. I mean, I know people are losing income, and I know there's people out there that are really struggling, but there's this, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't even know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, they talk about opening up, but that's they're putting the cart before the horse, really.
I mean, shit, they're putting them before the horse like a half mile.
Yeah, you'd think somebody would recognize that, but I mean, it all comes from the top. So welcome to La La Land.
And I guess part of me believed over the last 3.5 years that there was still enough stopgaps and enough layers that the ultimate decisions wouldn't really be that. They wouldn't really be what that Cheeto said, and they would be what made sense. And
well, our stockpile for the pandemic got sold to China in January when the price of respirators and all these other PPE apparatus went sky high. Then it got sold for high prices. The purchasing agents from the government have receipts of all this stuff that got sold overseas when they were willing to pay double. So
right.
Stockpile. Dumb.
Right. But that's one of the, I mean, it's not like this kind of conflict or social crisis profiteering is a new thing, but it just seems so brazen and obvious now that I don't understand why more people aren't complaining about it. No, that was a big thump.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's just, we talked about this like a week ago, or it might even been the first time we talked, because I think we've only been doing this a couple of weeks. But there was that whole thing where the Center for Disease Control actually released a statement to the New York Times that said we were deliberately just providing stopgap measures until a commercial entity could come up with a viable, marketable product. Meaning we weren't doing anything until someone could make money on it. And I don't know.
Ugh.
Well, yeah.
We were having a better time when we were just talking shit about like David Enright and stuff.
Yeah, we should
When
have
did
David
David?
Enright on.
We will. When did he move to Belgium? The last thing I remember at Enright is he lived in like Chicago.
No. He was out on the West Coast, and I've
was
already
on the
sent him a
West
message,
Coast?
by the way.
A couple of years ago.
I've already sent him a message, by the way, asking him to be on your program.
Okay, that's nice of you. Did you tell him to watch any previous programs? Because I'm going to tell my favorite David Enright story.
I
don't
That was
know.
another kathump. Nobody wants to hear a fucking David Enright story. No, you do. This is a good story. I worked at
I said,
Nicholson's.
tell me.
Tell
I'm going to tell you. I worked at Nicholson's
Did he
down.
work there?
He didn't. He worked at the Hustler store
Was
when
this
I
the
was at
story about when he
Nicholson's.
worked at the Hustler store?
That
He
it
did.
is,
Huh.
in fact, that story. So, Billy, you've heard this one, yes?
I think a couple times.
Okay. Well, that's all that is an indicator of how fond I am of the story. David Enright used to work at the Hustler store. I worked at Nicholson's. He'd come into Nicholson's and sit at the bar after he got off work at the Hustler store. Usually be late afternoon, and we'd talk. I thought he was a very nice person. Thought he was pretty talented generally too. But he taught me something that I'd never known before. When he said to me at the bar one day, I had no idea that most pornography is a single-use item. the same guys would come in and buy new movies every single day, and he didn't understand why you couldn't jerk off to the same thing. It had to be something new. Single-use item. There you go. I've just lost my PG rating.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, I say fuck most weeks. It's what it is.
Well, I saw Enright in Seattle about 4 years ago.
Now, was that where he was living? Was it Seattle? Why did I say
Scott,
Chicago?
He was in Chicago too.
Okay. I'm compressing
The replacements
timelines,
were
maybe.
Scott,
playing across town.
Yeah. What are the ratings like for your show? How many people are
Oh, there's 15 or 20
watching?
most times.
1 or 5.
How many has your wife seen?
Pardon me?
How many has your wife seen?
My wife watches every one of them after they're
Ooh.
posted. She sits on the porch and smokes cigarettes and watches them, and then she critiques them. And the most common critique is you ask people questions and then you talk on top of them answering you.
That's absurd.
It's so true. Well, and my defense is, well, it's just like the way it would be if you were talking to me in person, right? I don't know.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I've always been kind of a bludgeon when it comes to social interaction.
How'd you get Peter Aaron to be on your show?
Oh, I asked him. No, Pete came to town. Me and Pete had some Facebook interchanges here and there. And mostly it was me complimenting him on being my favorite radio station because he posts music on Facebook constantly, and it's all obscure.
Remember when you met him at Herzog? What his first comment to you was?
No.
Well, you went up and shook his hand at Herzog.
It wasn't. No,
you said,
what you're talking about when he said he had no idea who I was?
Yeah.
No, that was actually at Murphy's at that Harambe's Heroes Nirvana reunion thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. No, I was actually just going to that. I was going to that point. And what's funny is that I mean, obviously that didn't bother me. I mean I've always been kind of a fringe scene guy, no matter what the scene's been. But when we were
not going to offend you in any way. That doesn't fit Scott Haggerty.
It depends on the circumstances. In this particular instance, it didn't. But what was fun? I mean, I asked him to do it, and he said cool, and he did it, and I thought he was great. But during the whole thing, he referenced Imminent Magazine and Kevin Donahue writing about the Chrome Cranks, and I'm just like, okay, so you kind of knew who I was, but you didn't know who I was. So it was nice. Yeah, I thought he was great. And did you guys hear the story? Did you guys watch that one?
You know what,
When I was-
Scott? I did.
Yeah.
Well, there was my favorite story about Pete Wegley is that the Kevin Donahue called him $3 because there was this huge swath of time in Cincinnati where every time there was a big show, Pete put it together, and Kevin never heard him say anything but give me $3, $3 to get into the show. So I don't know. I thought the story was better when I told it last night.
You know what, Scott? You should shoot for the stars, man. It's like I watched a music doc the other day, and I thought, I should give that Damon Suzuki another call. Right?
Oh, I meant
because
to
I'd
ask
done
you
the
about
interview
that.
with them.
Yeah.
And I shot him a random, and real quick, I know we got a minute. I shot him an email, and I was like, hey, let me talk to you again about your canceled tours. And he's like, Bill, sure, I would love to. I have nothing else to do but hear and think. So
now, has that been posted? Is there a place where I can watch that, or is it only like an article about it?
Yeah, it's on the Ugly Things website.
I'm gonna go watch that because I think that's super cool that you were just able to do that. Well, that's what I should do. Is I should just shoot email. I should shoot random emails and texts to like world leaders and cultural icons and see who'll come on.
There you go.
Or
And if
local
not,
icon.
I'll jump on.
Send one that you can get Kim Deal on with David Enright next time.
That would be awesome. So do me a favor, Steve, right now. Are you in touch with the Enright at all? Any more than any of us?
No. Billy, maybe.
Yeah, I just sent him a message.
Awesome. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
See if he'll do it. We'll try and put something together this weekend. And it is what it is. And you guys, just do me a favor. Just let me know. And Billy, I appreciate you always being like on the spot in the early thing. Are we doing this tonight or whatever? But just let me know if you guys don't want to do it. I don't give a shit. We don't have to do it. And Stevie, send me some more besides Death Warmed Over. Or
who wouldn't do it? Be on here.
Pardon me?
Finish it. Finish it.
All of a sudden, we're playing Mortal Kombat.
Finish them off. Finish them off.
Anyway, hey, I'll send you, Stevie, I'll send you that bass line within the next 2 days with that guitar track too. You got to send me something new. Okay? Is that a deal?
All right. Deal.
All right. You guys have a great night. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.